Okay, welcome back, gentlemen. So, we are on to the second episode of this let's play of the Ghost Fleet Offensive. Now, because I haven't touched the game in over 2 years, I've gotten quite a few things mixed up from my first episode. So, I got mixed up between the two currency types. So, you've got requisition points and then you've got Tilium. Requisition points are used for unlocking the blueprints and recruiting your officers. The Tilium is used to build your ships. Now, I wasn't paying too much attention, but we could have already unlocked our Mark II Vipers in the previous mission before we went into combat, and that would have been very helpful because we have 4,100. Well, we had I think 4,000 requisition points when we started, and so yeah, made some mistakes there. It's all right. We took the losses. We can recuperate them. We lost a Manticore. It had some veterancy, but not that big of a deal to be honest. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start building up our fleet, and I've already mentioned the kind of strategy I'm going for is gonna be heavy starfighter build. Lots of Vipers, a couple of Raptors here and there. Focus on the carrier air group and try to strike our enemies out with long range fighter support, scout them out, and then engage and close with our main ships. So the main ships that we're going to be using is the ones that we already have available to us. The Berserk Carrier and the Adamant, these two are already, mainstay ships of our fleet for the early and mid game. Once we get to the late game, we're just going to be pumping out battle stars. Because the Artemis is already available to us, we're going to be building some of these, but we're going to ignore the Minerva and the Jupiter Mark 1s, and we're going to go for the Jupiter Mark 2s. Overall, in the long-term strategy, we're not going to get this right now because that would basically bankrupt us. But I'm trying to lay out the main strategy that I'm going for here. Our fleets are going to be made up of Artemis battle stars, the Berserk carriers, the Adamant frigates, and then after that, we're going to be having the Atlas carriers. For the amount of fighter support that they bring, for the amount of fleet points, this is going to be fairly common with most of our fleets. So it's going to be the Atlas carrier, and then the Minotaur gunship, which we already have two. They've already been doing a lot of work. The reason why I go for the Minotaur versus the Heracles is just points. The Heracles costs 350 more fleet points, and it's slower. And the Minotaur has medium turrets on the broadsides. The Heracles has point defense turrets, which would have been helpful in the previous game because we got swamped by Cylons. But since we're gonna be going for heavy starfighters, our main weapons against enemy starfighters is gonna be our starfighters basically, and our flak fields. We'll get to that in a bit here. If I recall now, I'm pretty sure I know what these two locked ships are. One of them is the Orion frigate, which on paper looks to be like the coolest ship, and I believe it's in the Blood and Chrome TV spin-off series from the Battlestar Galactica reboot. I have never watched Blood and Chrome, which is interesting to bring up because this entire campaign is basically part of Blood and Chrome. They did some rewrites basically to certain parts of the story, but Blood and Chrome and this campaign here, they go hand in hand basically because they cover the same thing, the Ghost Fleet Offensive. Trying not to spoil anything there, even though I've never watched it, I do know what the lore is. This other one here, I can't remember what the name is, but it's basically a second support ship, which brings me to this, the Celestial support ship. This is actually very useful because this basically lets us repair our armor plating mid-battle. It does battlefield repairs, so in the previous engagement, Galactica took like a ton of hits in the opening salvos. What we could have done if we had this support ship is basically repair the armor in the middle of the fight. And what the Celestial also has is that it carries munitions. It doesn't fire the munitions, but it carries them, and we can reload other ships in the fleet. I personally, when I play this game and I'm going for this build that I do, because we're relying so much on starfighters, I also rely on flak field as well. And when you use the flak fields, you basically kind of negate the opportunity for yourself to use your guided munitions, or at least the way I play it. I keep my ships really close to each other behind the flak fields, and therefore that's the kind of dilemma that I have. I try not to split up my ships too far. There's plenty of other ways you can play the game. The strategy that I'm going for is just the strategy that I really like and I have a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're brand new to the game and you want to try and play it, just remember that the way I play the game is not the only way to play the game. It's a million ways you can go about playing the game. So there's that. But yeah, the Celestial support, we're gonna need to get this because this will be very helpful. As for the Minotaur, I'm not too fussed about getting the Minotaur just yet. Well, we should be okay with just the Berserk and the Adamants as giving us the gunfire support, because the Berserk has medium turrets on the broadsides. The Adamant only has light turrets, but it still does the work. We'll get the Minotaur last. We're not going for the DRADIS cruiser. It won't fit into the kind of fleet that I'm trying to make here. So there's that. But yeah, first we're gonna buy the Mark IIs. There we go. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy the Assault Raptors. I really like the Assault Raptors. The Assault Raptors are like amazing because they have small rocket pods, which are really good anti-ship weapons. There is the Taipan Squadron. This is a starfighter that is designed for anti-capital combat, but it's a whole other squadron that you need to get. And I like to take the Assault Raptors because I usually don't use the normal Raptors very much. I don't do the boarding kind of gameplay and all that kind of stuff. So instead of trying to swap out a Viper Squadron with a Taipan Squadron, I just swap out the Assault Raptor and use that. They also have the secondary ability called Paint Target, which basically increases your ship's targeting ability. They give bonuses basically. So all around, the Assault Raptor fits into my strategy a lot, so we're gonna get this guy as well. So that's our Starfighter complement basically figured out. We have two others, the Sweepers and the Sweeper and the Taipan. The Sweeper, because like I said, I go heavy Starfighter and flak fields, there's not really much point in using this, but it has a ton of utility. That's all I can say about this. Don't want to sleep on this one if you're going for a different build. But there's that. As for munitions, we'll get a nuke later. These are fun to use. And as for mines, yeah, we'll get them later as well. But I think that's about it for now. Ah, yes. Can get the Atlas right now. We'll do that. We'll get the Atlas. There we go. Okay. Down to 1,350 requisition points. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna recruit an officer, because we have this guy, Wilbert Simmons, Lieutenant Colonel, rank 1. He is the... I can't remember what the different roles are, but there's like three. There's the fleet officer, there's the marine officer, and there's the engineering officer. And the ones we want are these guys, the fleet officers. So since he's already on the roster and we can recruit him, we're gonna do that. And it only costs 50 requisition points, so we'll get that. We're not gonna be able to use him right now, but oh, I can rename him as well. Ah, okay. we'll be giving him a name later on. Okay, so the other thing you can do is that you can promote them. I believe. I'm pretty sure you can. That's what I recall. Maybe I can't. Yeah, there's a promotion cost, 500 RP. Why? Okay, we'll figure that out another time. Okay, we got him. We will, right, build ships. That's what we need to do. Right, we are going to build a Battlestar. This is going to be the flagship for our auxiliary fleet. We're not going to rush it. We're just going to build it normally. Actually, hang on. We're not going to do that because we are currently at threat level 1 on the Cylon threat counter, which means we have 20% build cost. This is the debuff that we have right now. What we're going to do first is that we're going to do a secondary mission, get this threat down, and then start building the fleet. We are going to go for the one that gives us the most, which I believe is this.
Ministry Intel has found the source of a Cylon sympathizer broadcast network. You don't want to hear the propaganda spewing from these things, Commander.
I'm going to send the...
It isn't pretty.
Raptor Scouts, 402. No, it wouldn't be worth it. We're just gonna send the civilian scouts. Get intel. It's instant. 30% success rate. Scout failed. Well, okay, too bad. But we're gonna go for this one. It's gonna give us 1200 Tilium and 500 requisition points. And then it will also bring down the threat level by 17. And then after that, we're gonna start building our auxiliary fleet. So let's go do that. Ah, hang on. Still got some things to do. We need to repair the fleet. The repair cost will be 454. We will do that. Yep. And another problem we have is that because we jumped this fleet earlier, we have an FTL recharge cost. You can bypass this cost by just keeping the fleet idle and stationary, which we might do. Yeah, I think we will do that. Yeah, we'll just chill out for one turn, and then we'll go in and hit the mission because we still have time. In the meantime, we need to do this fleet management. Switch all our Viper Mark 1s to Mark 2s, and switch our Raptors to Assault Raptors. We need to take care about this switching the Assault Raptors because certain missions we need the normal Raptor to do Raptor things. You need to keep that in mind. Here we need to switch this guy out for Mark 2s, Mark 2s, and yeah, that's about it. I forgot that we have access to the mines as well. So our Corvette might be better to do that actually, because we ran into the problem earlier where there was no point in, well, our flak field was basically stopping us from using our guided munitions. But to be honest, we'll come back to that another time. Okay, so we've done this, done that. Okay, yeah, we'll end the turn. Okay. Ah, that's what else it does. Every time you pass the time, it increases the threat. Okay. Reloading things. Okay, so the FTL recharge has been dropped by 50 Tilium. So we're gonna just take the cost of 170 right now and just do this mission over here. Confirm jump. Yeah, paid 170. Okay. I think I might have to do 2 resource missions to get the threat down before we start building ships. We shall see. Alright, and turn. And we are now engaged. Okay, here we go. You know what we forgot to do? I forgot to buy the support ship. That's what I needed to do. Because the support ship basically is its own slot on the fleet roster. So every time you can always bring 8 ships basically. Mistakes. But it'll be fine. Make for quality content. I don't think this would be a big battle. I don't see why it would be. Yeah, we'll keep our position the same way as before. Keep the Manticore in the rear. We don't want to lose it. Proceed.
Prepare to jump in 3, 2,
my favorite part of the
1.
game. We didn't get that in the first mission, but every time you start the mission, well, usually every time, you get to see the whole fleet like jump in like that.
DRADIS contacts. Cylons present at the LZ. Guess even toasters want to hear their name on the radio. Objective is to clear the network and anyone defending it, Commander.
Right. So we are here to destroy a satellite network that's broadcasting propaganda, heretic propaganda. This is 40k, but yeah, we need to destroy the satellite network, and yeah, that's the main objective. Right, this is interesting. So the enemy fleet over here. Okay, hang on. Yeah, okay, there we go. Finally, I need to be in this mode of viewing. But when you hover over the terrain features, that's when it brings up the type of terrain feature and what it does. So these things over here are the dust nebulas. They interfere with our targeting. Both our turrets, which is our focus fire ability, and the guided munitions. So if we're trying to fire guided missiles through these nebulas, they're not going to work out. This other thing here is just background, I suppose. That's it. Let me put the cursor over here. Yeah, it's not bringing up anything. Yeah, okay, so the blue color dust nebula thing is nothing. Right, okay, so how we're gonna deal with this is first launch all squadrons. Always launch the Vipers. We are below the enemy. Good. We don't need to fiddle around too much with our Z-axis maneuvers. We are going to shift our ships a little bit here. Put our gunships below the Battlestar. Keep our frigate closer on this end here.
Yes, sir.
Down a little bit lower. Okay. The Manticore, we're not gonna make the same mistake as before. We gotta keep them a little bit higher. Okay, that ought to be all right. Kind of.
Got it.
Okay, we're trying to line up the battle line here. Trying to stack them up close in a line, so that once we deploy the flak field from Galactica, we shield ourselves from everybody. And yes, we've given the orders to launch all Vipers. We will end the turn. Okay, Vipers are launching.
Thrusters nominal, RCS green, I'm good to go.
I want Galactica to be the one that's in the front, take all the hits. He is the main tank after all. Okay, so we have... Right, I need to assign this squadron to Red Squadron. There we go. We're going to have Red Squadron move in and destroy all the satellites. We're not going to send a whole ship to deal with all that. There we go. Makes me think, do we even need to send the whole squadron? No, we don't. Unassign you. I would just send one Viper squadron. Knock out the satellites. The Red Squadron will be down one Viper Squadron. That's alright. That's alright. So we're gonna maneuver Red Squadron off to the left here. And no, what we don't want to do is that. Use the mechanics. We'll bring them down low. Go off the side and bring them down low. Blue Squadron is gonna do the same, but on the other side here. Okay, yeah, we want to get them far away from the main group because we're gonna start deploying our flak. In the meantime, start re-maneuvering our ships here. There we go, nice. A bit out of position.
So say we all.
Okay, there we go. Oh, the Manticore, nope. Nice. Yeah, okay. Enter. Yeah, I want to try stack all of our gunships and frigates just below and try and make them in the line. Get the Manticore close up here. I want to try and detect these guys fast so that we can expend our munitions before we put up the flak. Okay, we're sending our starfighters down low. Try to detect them here. Our lone Viper Squadron is moving on to the objective zone. Good, good. Okay, we need to work here a little bit.
So say we all.
Try and make it into the line. Because we have this gunship is closer towards the enemy. It's in between Galactica and the enemy, basically. It's not what we want. And we want to put the frigates behind the gunships. Nice. Okay, yeah. One more turn and we ought to be ready. Okay, turn. See if we can detect them here. Okay. Enemy has already detected us.
IFFs have come back hostile. Missiles incoming.
Okay, this is good. These are Nemesis. And they're basically the Minotaur version. Not the Minotaur version. The Manticore versions of the Cylons. The Cylon version of the Manticore. Oh, Jesus, what is English? So they are their Corvette light frigate type ships. They have guided munitions, as we can see here, but they don't carry starfighters. That means this guy over here has got to be a carrier of some kind, either the Talon or the Cerberus. So we are receiving fire. We need to put the flak up. Flak field left. And we need to start repositioning our boys here. Keep them close.
Yes, Commander.
Bring them low. Okay, good thing they're not focusing the Mantic core. It is the weakest ship in our fleet right now.
I'm on it, Commander.
Yeah, swing it around this way, around this way. Yeah, that ought to be alright. Bring you up here. Yeah, we stagger it up this way. Okay, we're gonna take some shots here. Take some hits, sorry. Okay, we've got Red Squadron engaging this Raider. Prototype squadrons, that's the weakest kind they have. Blue Squadron needs to order. I'm gonna send Blue Squadron to identify the last ship in this task force here. Select target.
Yes,
Nope.
sir.
What is our situation? Okay, our Viper has already knocked out one of the objectives, so we need to switch to the next objective. Good, good, good. Okay, so we're not gonna expend any missiles because we're already being fired upon. That's one other thing that the Cylons have that we don't have, is that their DRADIS and sensor capabilities are better than ours. So they were able to detect us first and engage, whereas we took a little bit longer. Okay. Reposition the fleet slightly.
Yes, sir.
And now we're gonna boost our attack. Focus fire. Actually, that's a little bit overkill for the targets that we are engaging right now. So we'll switch the gunship fire to the other nemesis here, and then we'll keep everybody else locked in like this. Yeah, that ought to be alright. That ought to be alright. Raider prototype squadron is engaged. We got a dogfight going on. And our Viper on the far side is engaging the main objective. Okay, there we go. Let's get back to the fight here. Okay, they're hacking us. That's another thing that they can do. This will degrade our subsystems. But hacking don't mean anything if you're blown to pieces. That's two contacts off the board right there. This guy's about to die. Let's just double check what the damage is being done. Yeah, so our firewall is now at 15. That's not good. But it means that we haven't lost any of our subsystems. They haven't been degraded yet. Good, good, good. Prototype Raider Squadron is still being engaged. Still in a dogfight over there. Double check. Okay, yep. We are working the objective. Switch
Yes, sir.
to the next satellite. Nice. Okay, continue on with the fight.
Switching guns to manual.
Scratch one more nemesis. And we've already detected the final enemy ship. How do we... Yeah, there we go. Yep, so this was the Talon, just like the light carrier. Right, we are going to do some things. Paint target. And then... Here. Short range missiles. We got 2 salvo remaining.
Got it.
Fire upon them. There's a little dogfight that's going on. Raider prototype squadron almost done. Taking some hits on our Viper squadron, but they'll be fine. And on the far side here, got the DRADIS. Oh, I can't click this guy. There we go. Yeah, just 2 more satellites that need to be knocked out. Okay. Swing off posture, boost thrusters, swing it
I'm on it,
around.
Commander.
By the time we get there, our starfighters will probably have already dealt with the Talon. Yeah, just check out this fight then. There's our short-range missiles. The salvo went in right there. You can see the laser targeting going on, so this is giving a buff to our Vipers. It would give a buff to our main capital ships, but they're not in range, so it doesn't really matter in that sense. Raider prototype's almost dead, which means where's our second? Yeah, okay, our Assault Raptor can engage. Yeah, send you up there. Yeah, but not in range for the short range missiles, but that's alright. Swing the fleet around. Okay. And where is our Viper? There you are, off in the distance. Oh, I can just select you this way, can't I? Not thinking straight. Yep, one last satellite. There you go. Okay. Enter. And the Viper's going in. We have to degrade the armor plating. We've degraded the armor plating on the left side here. They got hit by the rockets just now, the missiles. Okay, yeah, we are now in range to fire the next salvo from our second squadron. Because I gave the order from this squadron, red squadron, the Viper basically ignored the raider that was being engaged, so we're gonna unassign the group and then reassign.
Confirmed squadron target.
Engage. And yeah, okay, that ought to be alright. There goes, another salvo. Okay, bottom plating gone, rear plating about to go.
Rally on me.
Right plating also being depleted. Okay, I believe we've knocked out the Raider squadron. Yeah, our boys are victorious. And we have knocked out the final satellite objective. So we're gonna bring these guys on their way back, I believe. Yeah, give them that order there. And yeah, okay, we should be done. Few more turns. Oh, I need to take the flak off. Forgot about that. Oh, the posture also affects the flak. Yep.
Marks are dark, and broadcast
Oh,
is
we won.
offline.
That was it.
Hard to believe people would listen to that nonsense, let alone believe it.
Mission accomplished. XP, XP. Okay. Yeah, we're getting there. Is that a bonus of doing these secondary missions? We get XP from them. And as we could see here, they were fairly weak fleet. I think we might be doing a couple more of these just because I want to get the veterancy up and I need to build resources. Yeah, it's something I think about.
Thrusters nominal, RCS green, I'm good to go.
Target is 3-4 by 6-2.
Nothing but the ring. We're gonna hammer the frackers until they can't get back up. Switching gun to manual.
That's what you get, frackers. They're breaking. Push the line. No toaster's gonna do me like that. Not today.
Cleanup order received. Rally on me. That got a little messy. Reaching bingo fuel.
Okay, so after completing that mission, we have not yet been able to decrease our threat level because it increased a little bit too much when we were waiting. So we're gonna need to do one more before we start building up the auxiliary fleet, which is alright by me because we need to do some farming. That's what we need to do. We, however, have got some problems. We are currently no longer in our previous position, but we can jump into Helios Delta, which is where we've been operating, and we've got now a new resource mission. But we have Cylon markers, so if I recall correctly, this means that if we try and do these resource missions, it won't be the kind of cakewalk that we had in the mission that we just did just now. So I'm going to just save the game, do some thinking, do some strategizing, and then I'll see you on the next one.